So if we were to ask you, given some of the traditional categories like expository or narrative or womanist, do you fit in any of those categories, hybrid, how would you?
I think that without a doubt, I'm narrative.
Okay.
But I also think that I preach in three voices. And I found this, I discovered this thanks to this program, because you're forcing us to really think about these things that we've been doing. But I appreciate it because we do preach all the time, but we don't think about the theory behind what we do. And so while writing a paper for one of our classes, I believe homiletical theory, I was reading a book by Dr. Kenyatta Gilbert, The Journey to African American Preaching, and he lifted up this
Journey and Promise of African.
Journey and Promise of African. Let me get it right. Let me get it right. Journey and Promise.
I only did it because it means somebody wants to order
Right,
it.
they might want to order that book, right. Journey and Promise of African American Preaching. And he lifted up this trivocal homiletic. Yeah. And he talked about prophet, priest, and sage. And when I read that, I thought that in many ways, I feel that I preach in three voices. I preach, my one voice is pastoral, because that's primarily where I spend the majority of my time. And so I'm always thinking about congregational issues, issues of spiritual disciplines, transformation, stewardship, personal growth, and all those kinds of things that are related to transforming lives. And then of course, there's this, as I mentioned earlier, this commitment to social justice in my preaching, or prophetic commitment in my preaching, which deals with the realities of finite disappointment. But in preaching, I'm always trying to construct this alternative future. And then of course, because I'm female and because I have experienced so much as a woman in ministry, I believe that there's also a womanist lens that informs and shapes my preaching, which is committed to preaching liberation to all people, but certainly as the situation warrants and as the text should warrant, or as the context should warrant, dealing with issues of racism and oppression and other issues that tend to create bias against certain populations. So I would say that I preach in three voices, I think. So I call it a trivocal womanist homiletic.
All right, now I know Kenyatta Gilbert is shouting right now.
Let's hope so anyway. Let's hope so.
I'm gonna send it to him to make sure he gets his
Right.
shout in.
Right. It's a great book though.
It is, it really is.
It's a really great book.
And he's great people.
Yes.